So we got 3 packages here today, but before we do that, let's go with the other thing, which is, I don't know. So I've had those 2 computers for a while. Recently, over the weekend, I put together a third one. It's 4 gigahertz, 8-core AMD with 32 gigabytes of DDR3 13300 memory. Some of it is cheap, old, whatever. We got a not animated DVD. But let's see, the purpose of the server is actually to replace my previous server computer, just because that previous one has been iffy for a long time. In fact, you'll probably always maybe hear the fan on in the background. Well, that's that thing. Oh look, it's Walking Dead season 5th. So these would be my non-anime thingy-maderbs. Next up comes anime. First up comes the Amazon stuff. For some reason. Okay, these aren't all Blu-ray. I was wondering. And then we got this from Right Stuff. It's a good thing there's a little bit of distance in that drive home. Today's workout was actually real hard. Oop. And then here we've got, I guess I should check to make sure there's nothing else. A receipt. Persona 4, the Animation Limited Edition. I'm trying to remember if I was going to purchase this or not. I might have, just because I think I might purchase the Blu-ray version. So let's begin with Fate's Day Night. You can see it's complete first season, Blu-ray box set 1. Of course you'll know I already have Blu-ray box set 1, but if you're curious, this one is the official US release, so it's significantly cheaper. English dubbed, as you can see. This is the Blu-ray version. It's kind of tricky to open. I guess before I do that, I'm going to look for, let's see, this one. In case you were curious, here's how it compares to the Japanese version. The Japanese version is bigger, so prettier red on the inside. I wonder if I can just get this start so it can peel off. Because right now it feels like it's resisting my attempts to get on the inside. Alright. So let's begin by, I guess, taking this off to take a look at this picture. It's the same as the back of the other one, I believe. Nothing else really worth looking at here, per se. Here we have disc 1 and 2. And if I remember right, I do like the way this one, it seems to be a bit balanced. Like, one problem I have with Fate Zero is it just kind of throws you into the Fate universe. So if you didn't already watch the first one, you could be a little disoriented, and I think Fate's Day Night is nice in that it introduces you. What is this one? Discs 3 and 4. And so while people like Fate Zero more, I just don't think it's an appropriate way to start somebody off with the series. But I know some other people have different opinions. There we go. This is the third one. This is original soundtrack 1. So this is kind of interesting because it basically means this version came out before box set 2 came out in Japan, so there's a little bit of an overlap there. Let's see, we've got a card and an alliance model cup, and then the questionnaire and the proof of purchase. DVD version, on the other hand, I bet it's a lot simpler, give or take the fact that it might not be as simple to open. Clunk. Don't need that. As you can see, this one is dubbed as well. This has the same cover as the first one. And then we've got DVD discs 1, 2, and 3. Pretty straightforward, simple. Just nice if you just want to have the series. Questionnaire, proof of purchase. That's the DVD version of that. So, looks like I see. Okay. So first we've got DVD and Blu-ray versions of Kamigami no Asobi Decorum. I don't know. I probably shouldn't pronounce it like Spanish since it's probably Latin. Oh dear, this is of course a Sentai release. I forgot to make that, and yeah, I guess that works. The plastic feels thinner, so I'm wondering if that's a solution they have to this design. So we've got a single disc, I guess region A, subtitled only. And then the DVD version is 2 discs. They're pretty simple discs. That's okay. It's nice to get anime even if it's a simple release. In fact, the simple release probably helps. Next, we've got Vampire Hunter D on DVD, or sorry, Blu-ray. It also got re-released on Blu-ray. Sorry. Ugh. I'm babbling like pretty badly. I can't even seem to get in between. But this is the first Vampire Hunter D. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust comes out next month. This is Japanese with English subtitles and okay, so it's dubbed in both Japanese and English subtitles. Blah, region A. What I'm trying to go with this, even though I'm scatterbrained, is Bloodlust. According to I think the packaging is English dubbed only, which is the same as the old DVD release. Oh damn it! So it's pretty much just a release on, kind of a re-release of that old stuff. Otherwise, I would have gotten Vampire Hunter D on DVD if it also included the Japanese dub, assuming there is one. I'm guessing there is one. But I think they knew that because it looked like there was only a Blu-ray release coming out for that one. This one is the, I don't know, more 80s-ish series maybe, or early 90s. 2 heads. Anyways, this is it on Blu-ray. I don't know how much better or worse it is than the DVD version. Probably better than the old DVD version I have, since the quality there was passable. Oh well, and then we got Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, Heart Throb, or just Throb. Because see, the heart's there too. I guess I'll have to look it up. I think this is another season of Chunibyo. but I don't know. It's apparently not as grandiose as the second release of the first season. English dubbed. And I didn't see a Blu-ray release for this, which makes me wonder if this is like going to be the same thing, assuming the second season is popular enough or something. Anyways, that's pretty much everything for this week's anime DVD collection update. I wonder, does that look better? I guess a little bit. So, I watched the second half of Naruto Shippuden DVD set 23. I had forgotten that, like last week I talked about the arm wrestling thing being exciting. I had forgotten that at the end of that it went weird art style. There was a part of me wondering if something like that could be like a guest animator or something, but it was enough episodes where I'm not sure, and instead I have a different hypothesis where that was maybe an almost movie. It's like content-wise, it could have almost been a Naruto Shippuden movie. And actually, if it had been paced like a movie, it would have been pretty good, I think. I'm not sure if great's right. But I thought it would have been enjoyable. As it is, it was a bit of a distraction. An okay story, okay to good, just maybe sort of filling in some backstory, possibly. Whether or not it could actually fit in anywhere in the past is definitely up for question. That's the case for a lot of these things. Like the Garlic Jr. saga, when did Garlic Jr. the movie happen if the Garlic Jr. saga is canon? And of course, we don't consider that canon because it's stupid. But yeah, other than that, it ended about to get to maybe interesting part. No, it started getting interesting, which is unfortunate because it meant we got one episode of this is the part we've been waiting for, and you know, that's pretty standard, especially for a series that's trying to draw things out so that the manga can finish. And the manga is finished as far as I know, and I think the series is either close to finishing or finishing. It's just that, you know, I'm nowhere near that point. And so this is like, what, a year or two, maybe even more behind. So I'm kind of looking forward to the next release, although I do think that's a couple of months out. I have been catching up on Yakitate Japan. Now, obviously, this is the third season box set, again, pulled out just because that was on the top. It's one of the problems of having anime in boxes is, unlike the anime that could be like over there or back here, if it's in the box, it takes a lot of digging out to find it. And this one I just happen to know is on the top in one of the boxes, so I can just pull it out to show it when I'm saying, yeah, I watched more Yakitate Japan. I'm making pretty slow progress in my opinion, but it's still steady progress. And that pretty much just means that I've reached the point where I stopped when I think I was downloading it a long time ago. Because back during my download days, of course I had some things given to me. And I think Hunter x Hunter was given to me by Battlefrost, and Naruto by Kevin. I don't know. There's obviously more than just those two things, but Yakitate Japan was obviously a candidate in there because I think one of them might have talked to me about it, or maybe I just ran into it downloading stuff from Anime Suki, and this one has actually been fun, entertaining, engaging. It's not like super exciting, but like I said, it's engaging. It kind of keeps you interested. It would have been nice to continue watching episodes when I stopped. Well, I mean, I didn't stop, but I meant like stop last night. And every night, you know, you have to stop at some point in order to go to bed. And it's always, it'd be nice to watch the next episode. And I'm not sure what I did a long time ago to stop. Maybe I'm about to see something that makes me think, oh yeah, that's why I stopped. But as it is right now, I can't help but think that I am right there because some of this stuff is vaguely familiar. This is the Monaco arc stuff, so it is season 2. It's getting close to this ish. Maybe not halfway through the series yet, or maybe at about the halfway point because I think this one was less episodes. I don't want to do the math right now. Actually, I guess I am. This is 16 episodes. episodes, maybe 17 episodes, I don't know. So maybe I'm making progress either way. I'm enjoying it. It's a good show. I'm glad it came out on DVD. If none of y'all have checked it out, but never heard of it, whatnot, it's good. It's Yakitate Japan, which the Japan is supposed to be a play on words with Japan, where pan is bread. I'm not sure if it's Japanese for bread, but it is bread in a lot of languages, I think. Anyways, Yakitate Japan. So I actually haven't been watching anything else, which would probably make you wonder what was causing me to be so slow at watching Yakitate Japan. Now, that definitely did a lot. The new computer did. Let's see. I guess because I had to carefully coordinate how I was moving stuff between the old server and the new server. And I'm not exactly decommissioning the old server, so I was having to pick and choose what. The old server does have lockup issues every once in a while, and maybe it doing less will allow it to do more, I don't know. But the basic idea is I wanted to move important things to this new one because it does a couple of things that it corrects a couple of mistakes that I made with the first server. The first problem with the old server was I chose too advanced a motherboard. Really, I don't need that fancy a motherboard, just one that can utilize the CPU and good amount of memory. And I think even this fancy one didn't go higher than 4 slots, so what was the point? Well, the real problem with that was actually that Ubuntu won't boot on that machine. It wouldn't boot back then, and it wouldn't boot like a year or two ago when I gave it a shot. Maybe Ubuntu 15 would, but I somehow doubt it. It's got to be something in the BIOS that needs to be turned off, but the problem is it all looks innocent enough that I can't think of what the culprit would be. So that machine instead got installed with Arch Linux, and Arch Linux probably has its uses, but since I'm not using it for those uses, it's just an annoying pain in the ass. Where it doesn't have really well-defined upgrade paths, so I put off upgrading until it's a big thing, because every upgrade has the potential to really break things, and they try and give you the information, I'm guessing, on what's broken, but you'll have silly things like the grub.conf gets renamed so that you'll go and double check your grub.conf and make sure it is what you want it to be. But of course, if you didn't see that message because you had a ton of stuff updating, then you reboot. You're not SOL, but it's going to be really fucking hard to do anything when you can't even boot the computer. And you need to go into single user mode or something, except there's no grub.conf. I don't know. That one was particularly painful, but it's always, there's something major that changes where they don't have migration strategies because Arch Linux, that's not the purpose of Arch Linux. That's why something like Ubuntu is better, because I'm trying not to tinker with the box too much or whatnot. The other problem with Arch Linux was also that it was 64-bit purist, which made it actually kind of hard to do some things, which wanted a 32-bit compatibility library that was just no longer being included. Arch Linux was definitely one of the biggest problems with that box, and it's lasted fine. And if you don't shuffle things around, Arch Linux is just stable enough. It's text only, but that wasn't a problem for me. That was my goal. But I need something with good upgrade paths, well defined. Ubuntu's an obvious choice there. Kubuntu being Ubuntu with a KDE instead of GNOME, I think. That might have been another option, but I just went with the old, well-known Ubuntu, and it's been working fine. Let's see, other problems. One thing I realized with the old server was the way I had my disks laid out needed work. I think because that server was originally going to just have a lot of Minecraft servers and it didn't really matter what they were, but since I started multi-purposing it, it just didn't make sense the way the Minecraft stuff was just sharing the same hard drive as the boot stuff. And so for this machine, it's got a new hard drive in it that's, well, obviously it has a new hard drive for the Linux boot, but it also has one for Minecraft. So if I want to move that from machine to machine, I have all my Minecraft stuff in one place as opposed to just spread around a little bit on the disk. It gave me a good opportunity to also go in and do some maintenance on the startup and shutdown scripts, so that specifically I could have a shutdown script, and the startup scripts are actually kind of smarter, just a little bit, you know, not a whole lot of work. Let's see, my private streaming server stuff, well, that has two components. One has always been on its own hard drive, and that's the part that encodes the video files and then stores them somewhere, but the part that's part of the web page has always just been on the main disk with Minecraft and the Linux boot. And when you have that many things kind of competing against each other for the same disk space, problems have happened. Sometimes it's just a log file got way too big in Linux, and all of a sudden the streaming server stops working correctly on the website side. Or Minecraft is just too hoggy with its backups. You know, they kind of interfered with each other. Actually, the streaming server has never interfered with the others, just because even with its little history thing, it's been good. But this means that I was able to say, okay, I'll buy another SSD in order to move that stuff onto its own, the website of my private streaming server into its own disk. So now website stuff is also in its own hard drive. And you know, those are actually pretty big things, considering SSDs aren't necessarily cheap, although there were some cheap ones out there. I think other people picked some of them up, and I can't really blame them for that. But if I'd been thinking at that time, you know, I could actually use a couple of these, that would have been nice. Oh well. Of course, the problem's not solved, because while there's always been a private hard drive for Steam games, I still haven't decided how I want to do that yet, because I think I want to do either command line stuff. Maybe I want both the normal Steam client and the Steam command line client, so that I can pick and choose what I want. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping to play with tonight, and then I'll have to figure out Minecraft map generation, because that's one of the things I want the old computer to continue doing. Because first of all, if that locks up, then that's not a big loss. You can still play Minecraft without the maps generating. You can still, you know, if my private streaming server isn't on there, I can continue watching Architected Japan during lunch at work or whatnot, and instead of you know, I don't have to worry about the server locking up. Which reminds me, for the locking up, I also put an aftermarket heatsink in there. That's my first for me. It's nothing too complicated when you get down to it. It's not like water cooling, which is a completely different way of thinking about it, I think. Yeah, the other thing I'll have that do is probably be a secondary encoding server, so I can just like go crazy with it. With any luck, if any of y'all would be interested in the streaming server, if I ever do get around to finishing my version 3.0 of my streaming server, that would be an excellent opportunity for distribution, because that one will be a Java process. Probably actually a couple different Java processes for a couple different purposes. But yeah, until then, yeah, there's still the problem that I've never really done any database stuff on my own, and so once I get over that hiccup, and then I can start working on it, maybe I'll be able to actually have different components of the new streaming server available on, I'm trying to remember what it's called, GitHub I think it was, or was it GitLab? It's one or the other. Although that said, it's not going to be particularly spectacular code per se. It'll work, but in this case it should work better than processes I've done before. Because what I've currently got, in order to move the streaming server from one computer to the other, I had to do two things. First of all, Ubuntu uses Dash instead of Bash for its shell scripts, so I had to tell all of my shell scripts to use Bash, because I do use a couple of bash specific things apparently. I don't think about it too much, but that stuff isn't as well designed. And then the other thing is that there's little places here and there where the website and the encoding side of the private streaming server point to the other people, and I made them mostly centralized, but I still had to do a couple of things in order to make it work. One of them even tries to remember where itself is, and that's just not a really good way to do it. So I'm looking forward to replacing all these shell scripts, PHP scripts, etc. One C program, replacing it all with well-defined Java programs which can move machine to machine and they don't really care. That would be pretty good. Now, if there's any reason I'm going to not make as much progress watching Yakitate Japan this week, it's because new Walking Dead season for me, new for me. Some of y'all probably not only already seen it, but apparently the Fear the Walking Dead had its series premiere, and the commercials for Walking Dead that happened during that had spoilers for this season about what the next season was going to be like. So, gonna go ahead and end it there. So, can't think of anything else. Y'all have a nice week.